Good evening, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. This is the one and only African superstar back at it again, live stream. Yes, yes. Please come into the room. Come into the room. Yes. I'm the one and only African superstar, independent award winning musician. You guys can see, basing in Accra, Ghana. Today, I want to talk about this topic. I first want to give a special shout out to Jennifer Edie and Liz Z. We are currently raising funds for our next studio session. For all the African superstar music lovers, I'm coming to you to solicit support for our next studio session. We need to raise $200. So currently we have raised 70 US dollars, and we need to raise the rest so that I can record 6 new tracks. That includes the beats, the studio time, the mixing and mastering, and all of that. So you can obviously, there's a couple ways to support. I have been doing Should I Record It exclusive live streams in which I share the new songs. And if you happen to catch one, you can obviously super chat and enjoy the music, listen to the music, or you can send through the normal channels, which is Zelle, PayPal, Cash App, super chats on our normal videos, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's do that expeditiously so that I can book a studio session and bring brand new music to the family. Yes. What's up, guys? When you come in the room, please be on code. Code is you come in the room, like the stream, get active in the chat room, and be a part of our conversation tonight. Tonight's topic is having preferences that do not promote self-preservation is unnatural. So recently I posted a short on the channel in which I talked about interracial dating and how interracial dating is a default choice for a lot of people, especially Black women, because the truth is you should have the inclination, you should have the preference for your own people. That should be norm, okay? Because naturally you will see a reflection of yourself in your people, and obviously you want to promote the edification and growth of your people in the future. And there's only one way to do that, which is for us to continue to procreate together. When you don't have that inclination, okay, you actually have preferences for people outside of your demographic or whatever, or you actually have a distaste for your own people, that is unnatural. If I put it in terms of nature, for instance, okay, if we're talking about nature, animals, species, all right, we would think it's bizarre to see a giraffe with a bunch of elephants. We would think that it was bizarre to see like a lion with a zebra, okay? If it's not the hunt and the prey, the whole circle of life thing, we would think that it was strange. We would think that it was bizarre or sick. But when we see our people fraternizing with people outside of our demographic, it's actually become quite a norm. And actually, it's unnatural. Okay? It's unnatural to not gravitate to your people. There is some trauma there. There is some rejection there or failure there that makes you have that desire. Okay, so obviously one of the comments I received on that recent short about interracial dating was a lady who said, well, I've been dating, outside of my race for the past 20 years, and it's actually my preference. I would like to say that's an unnatural preference. We really are two totally different groups of people. Our outlook, our culture, our genetics, everything about us is two totally different. Our heritage, water and oil doesn't intersect. And how you can actually have a preference for people who have their ancestors have enacted such heinous things on your ancestors. You see, big shout outs to the African superstar family. Reparation for repatriation is in the building. First one there. What do you want to talk about? I just started the show, bro. I just started the show. Maybe I'll open it up in a few minutes. Let me go ahead and, set the stage. So I want to obviously talk about this topic because we have gotten away from the fact that it's unnatural for us to do this. You know, we've also gotten away from the fact that in order for us to continue to exist, okay, there's only one way to continue the perpetuation of Black people, African people, melanated people, is for the melanated man and the melanated woman to continue to come together and continue to procreate. Okay. When you are procreating with any other thing, you are contributing to the dilution of your own people and the eventual extinction of your people. Because you might say, oh, well, it's not a big deal what I do in my house. And, you know, Black people also say this dumb stuff, love is love. You guys, Black people say that. You know, I was watching today this documentary about this small island in the South Pacific. Okay. And the South, you know, this island has been getting bombarded with like higher tides and tropical storms, and basically the water is beginning to take over the island and forcing these people to have to look for other places to live. And these people are doing everything within their power to stay on their island. They went to the island and interviewed these people and said, you know, have you considered seeking refuge any other place? And the people said, we don't want to lose our culture. We don't want to lose our language. We love our homeland. Okay. And I was thinking to myself, now, meanwhile, here in Africa, all right, here in Africa, where fortunately we don't experience extreme weather. Okay. We have lots of land for agriculture. We have lots of land for building. We have fertile lands for, growth of food and all of this stuff. Meanwhile, our people not even concerned about the motherland. Meanwhile, these other people in the middle of the ocean that are dealing with environmental challenges that they are kind of powerless to do anything about are trying their best to preserve their people. And that's when I thought about this topic, and I thought it is unnatural. It is the fact that we don't consider our future people is unnatural. Something is wrong. Because self-preservation means I'm going to preserve myself, the longevity of my life, and I'm going to consider those coming after me. You know, and obviously the indoctrination is very heavy, which makes a lot of us have the mentality that we do, that we need to be inclusive, that, you know, to actually prefer our own people or even be expressive about our preference is racist and all of this stuff. I would like to contend with that this is false. You know, there may be a lot of people who don't understand, but there are still a lot of us who do. There may be a lot of you that have sold out, have thrown in the towel, have joined the other team. But there's still some of us that's like, no. Never gonna get it, 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 never gonna. Whoa. No. And the truth is that, guess what? Okay, you guys know here on this channel, I talk a lot about survival of the fittest, right? The fit will survive. The fit will survive. Okay? The unfit will not survive. The people that don't understand this concept that I'm talking about, self-preservation and this kind of stuff, they won't survive. Why won't they survive? Because they won't preserve the longevity of their family lines. That's why. That's why they won't survive. You're busy hooking up with the Asians, you're hooking up with the whites, you're hooking up with God knows who and what or whatever. You're bleeding out your family lines. Okay, the Johnsons ain't going to be the Johnsons anymore. You know, let me think of a Ghanaian surname. The Ajikuns are not going to be the Ajikuns anymore. Because you are inviting outsiders into your family lines. You're bleeding them out. You know, this is a foundational concept of generational wealth. And just because a lot of people here have thought, oh, well, you know, it is what it is. That's what Z1 says. It is what it is. Well, you know, that's their prerogative. Am I going to bleed out my family lines? Mm-mm. Some of you guys have already, you know, started families with people from your own demographic. Hello. You're part of the winning team. But that's only part of the battle. You see, the other part of the battle is instilling this importance in your children. This is another area where we fail because we don't want to tell our kids, hey, it's black love or stay single. Don't bring these people to my house. Don't marry these people. Don't procreate with these people. Don't share your wealth with these people. Okay? Find someone suitable from your own demographic and do that. All right? All the other ethnicities do it. All the other ethnicities make their preferences plain. Matter of fact, they tell their kids the consequences that will happen if they don't. So for the other people, again, it is a second nature thing. You know, if you get any other group, I mean, aside from black people, legit, you get any other group of people together and you put someone outside of their ethnicity up against someone inside their ethnicity, or even in some case, their nationality. All right. So, you know, you put the Chinese man or woman up against the black man or the black woman for the Chinese. We already know. Okay. We don't even need to know Xinjiang to know who they're going to choose 99.9% of the time. But with our people, we have this, you know, broader perspective, and it's really, really detrimental, and it's very unnatural. Okay. I also want to tell some of you guys who maybe have low self-esteem and you think that it's unkind. You know, it's unkind to say, I'm only going to date black men. I'm only going to date black women. Dude, it's nature. Okay. If you struggle with that, that's part of the brainwashing. The brainwashing has convinced you that to preference your own people, the longevity of your own people is wrong. Big shout outs to reparations for repatriation. This is a tongue twister, bro. This is the point. You see, because the campaign to break us apart has been so powerful and so effective that you have black men and women who are searching for love, searching for relationships, you know, looking everywhere except for each other. You know, they feel like they're too good for their own counterpart. And they don't understand that this is elimination. You see, black Americans don't understand. They clearly don't understand, because a lot of times they have animosity between other black people. They're anti-immigrant, they're anti-diaspora, they're anti-African, they're anti-black. You guys are contributing to the elimination of your own segment of people. You know, because again, there's only one way. Let me educate you on this episode if you don't know how a black man or a black woman comes about. Okay, those of us that are black people in the chat, Africans in the chat, Nigerians, Ghanaians, Kenyans, whatever. You don't know, you know, basic biology, but how we maintain each other is by procreating together. That's how it's been done for centuries. That's how we continue to exist. The minute you start intermarrying and giving birth with this, you start breaking down the family lines. And the terrible thing about it is, once we distribute, you know, and dilute our melanin, we can't get it back. Okay. Big shout out to the African Superstar family. African Goddess is there. She says, I think a significant number of Black parents would not be happy with their kids marrying out. I tell mine, I don't care where the person comes from, but I would prefer they're Black. You see, but see, the fact that we leave that back door is the problem. You know, the fact that we leave that back door is the problem. People say you can't control who you love. I think that's a lie. If you're entertaining things, you're entertaining any and everybody, then yeah, you might find yourself in a relationship with someone who maybe is outside of your ethnicity. Like for me, there's no way I'll love a white man. It's impossible because I would never be dating one in the first place. Okay, because see, what I'm talking about here is more than emotional. Okay, it's actually, you know, strategic. A lot of people, especially Westerners, okay, Westerners have this very romantic and, you know, delusional vision of marriage, which is why Westerners have one of the highest divorce rates in the whole world. Okay, because they don't understand that marriage is a business. Marriage is an institution. Marriage is a choice. Okay, marriage is a tool for procreation, longevity, and generational wealth. In the rest of the world, even people who may not have a strong, you know, sexual attraction or a deep love or a soulmate and all this kind of romantic, emotional elements will marry because they're looking at the big picture. Okay, this is going to create a, you know, a financial strong suit. You know, this person is of a good stock to procreate. You know, this person, blah, 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 blah. This person is really smart. They have scholars in their family. They have world leaders in their family. They come from wealth. You know, these are things that are considered that will get people to join and create a partnership. Okay, when, for instance, if generational wealth is something that you're interested in, marrying outsiders is already a bad way to go. Okay, because you're not containing that wealth. You're not containing that wealth. Okay, you are essentially distributing it outside of. And so, you know, I'm not a parent, obviously, currently today, but I don't think that there's anything wrong with letting your children understand why. Because, you know, these other ethnicities, like I said, they will have flings and they will have trysts with people outside of their community. But when it comes down to getting married, you know, when it comes down to having children, they're very strategic who they procreate with. Okay, you'll be very hard pressed to see a lot of these Middle Eastern people, you know, marrying and giving birth with people outside their ethnicity. I actually watched another documentary about the Saudis. Okay, and a lot of the Saudi men, they will go abroad for their education. They'll go to the US, they'll go to the UK. Sometimes they have affairs with Western women. Very seldom do they marry these women. Sometimes they even have children with these women, and they literally have children with the women and they just discard the child, cut off the woman, have nothing to do with it. And they'll go back to Saudi after they have, you know, done their rounds or their education or whatever, marry and continue their family and culture and everything. We need to start practicing some of these fundamentals. Duh. You know, and again, I know that I'm a very vocal voice on this because a lot of people cannot draw this line of demarcation. They want to always have this back door. They want to always, well, you can't control. And I want to tell you that back door is coming from a perspective of lack. You may not think that you can find a suitable person in your demographic. So you're like, well, you know, you take this perspective. Okay, Z1 says, when we have this conversation, let's be fully honest. Black women have been race loyal for so long, and what has it gotten us? This, again, this is what I was talking about in that short. Okay, this was motivated by a short that I recently did here on the channel where I talked about Black women defaulting to men outside of their race because of failure in those relationships. Okay, failure or non-existent. So you have some ladies, for instance, they've been single for a long time And maybe the only people giving them attention is not from their demographics. You also have to consider where you live, where you're sending your kids to school. Exposure and environment also has a big part to play. That's why I personally believe men here on the continent of Africa, they have an attraction, they have a love, they have an affinity to their own women in their country. This dynamic of a gender war or not having a preference for their own women. Many women from the West will come here and talk about how, men find them attractive here. Men like their bodies, if you're full figured or big or fat. Men here will still approach you, still consider you as a partner. You see, but the reason is because the environment is conducive for that. Okay, they're seeing that constantly. That's what's in their backyard. So they don't have any problems procreating. The reality is when we live in these diverse communities, it also creates a lot of this dynamic because you have all these apples and oranges and you have all this options and variety and whatnot. So people are like, oh yeah, I like, obviously some of us have probably met Black men and women that say, well, I exclusively date whites, or I like Spanish, I like Asian, and it's just like they have these preferences for something that's not even a reflection of themselves. I think, honestly, when you're picking a partner, it really shouldn't come from a place of failure, okay? That speaks to insecurity and, again, emotional dating, because you haven't had success in that area. So now, okay, but the truth is, hey, if it would have worked out with Tyrone, your first love, if it would have worked out with Keisha, you wouldn't be dating Brad now. That's the truth. Okay, you wouldn't be dating these other people because your first taste, your first preference, your first love, which is natural, was somebody from your own group. But because that didn't work out, that's what led you to considering other people, was the failure, the lack of success in that area. But I think if we consider everything that's on the line, we wouldn't be so quick to jump ship. And the fact that the truth is, in most of these interracial relationships, you're being fetish. You are an object. Okay, you're only good until you're not. You're only good as you are obedient. As you're acceptable, as you do what they want you to do, or you look the way they want you to look. You start going outside them perimeters, and you're going to be the N-word real fast. I actually think they're really incapable of loving us in a soulful, genuine way, but you have to be real with yourself about that. I have had this conversation countless times with friends of mine who have dated interracially that have admitted that, yeah, I was not feeling the best about myself. I was dealing with some insecurities. It was based on a heartbreak. I was trying to get back, so none of it was, oh, this person, I genuinely loved them. I saw them and it was love at first sight. No, it was motivated by failure. It was motivated by the fact that you were not in a right state of mind. At the end of the day. So you can do that if you want. But all I'm saying is that something is very wrong when you don't have a desire for self-preservation. Something is very wrong because you're not thinking about, your future aspirations or the aspirations of our people. I had this conversation today with a good friend of mine, and I was telling him, I was like, sometimes when I think about all the journey and stuff like that, I obviously think, I'm working really hard. I want to be able to pass some of this stuff on. I want to be able to, for my legacy to continue. We think about a lot of prominent people that have passed away, for instance, Malcolm X, Dr. Martin Luther King, Kwame Nkrumah. All of these men had children. And most of their children is carrying forward their civil works, and keeping the name alive and things like that. And so we need to start having a more comprehensive look at relationships and not just this fantasy. There might be someone who would be a nice partner for you. You know, that they may not get the fire all the way popping. They may not be as attractive as you would like, but they will be a very compatible partner for you, and a good, you know, someone to build with and create that generational wealth and create a strong family to go forward. You know, big shout outs to the family. All right. Let me see what this. Let's see here. If you're a black man with a white woman, I'm sorry, but yeah, I don't want to hear your opinion. Sorry. I mean, come on. You know, you disqualified yourself. You know, because obviously, I mean, just like the ladies, the thing is, guys, look, I'm going to have smoke for you guys that swirl. Period. I don't want to hear it, because the reality is, look, this is the reality. This is the reality. Okay? This is the reality. I've coined this phrase called the black umbrella. Okay? The black umbrella means that there are black people globally in every country, mostly every country, every ethnic background, which means you can get yourself a Spanish, you know, Afro Latino, you can get yourself a European one, you can get one from France. You know what I mean? You can get one from the continent. Whatever your flavor is, there are black people that are available in that demographic. So the fact that you've bypassed all of that and decided to go outside of that, you know, you haven't traveled, you haven't maybe entertained, you know, you willing to entertain the white man or the Asian, but you ain't willing to entertain any Caribbean, you ain't willing to entertain any Latino, you ain't willing to entertain any African person. Yeah, you have strategically chose that. Why? You know, and also the concept, like, do you guys not, I mean, obviously I know that with all this marketing and brainwashing, they've tried to convince us that, you know, mixed race people are so attractive, fair skin is so attractive. But do you guys not think it's weird, like, when your kids don't look like you? Like, your kid looks like nothing like you. Like, to the point when you go out with your kid, people ask, who is that child? I remember there was a girl in the UK. She very dark. I think she came from Senegal. And she had married, you know, this corny white dude. And they had a mixed race child, you know. And she was out with her child who looks nothing like her, very fair skin, does not resemble her at all. And someone asked her if she was the nanny. I'll be damned. Somebody asked her if she was the nanny to her own child. And I thought to myself, well, you know, you have a child that don't resemble you at all. You know, family resemblance is beautiful. Family resemblance is so dope. You know, I look like my mom. I look like my sister. You know what I mean? Like, it's dope. It's hot. It's beautiful. You know, having a child who doesn't share in your looks, you know, or anything from you is weird. Thinking that's okay or preferring that is sick. Something is wrong. It's unnatural. Like I said, if you saw a zebra chilling with elephants, you would be like, this is really weird. You know, but we think, oh, we're just human. You know, we all bleed the same blood and we just may look different. No, they're really different than us, guys. They really are different than us. I mean, they really are. You know, because we see from their history, they have, they're violent. You know, they have an insatiable quest for control and blood, and they are not ethical. You know, when they do business, they're always lie, cheat, and steal. You know, that's why they think it's okay to just pillage and take things from other people, not compensate them. You know, now you come to the continent of Africa, you go to the Caribbean, you go to the Latin world. Our people are welcoming. Our people are friendly. Our people are communal. Our people are nonviolent. You know, you ain't never heard of an African country invading the other. You know, most countries here in Africa, they don't even really invest in their military. You know, they're peaceful nations. They don't want to die. They're not into bloodshed. You know, peaceful to a fault. You know, we really are different. Appearance-wise, we're different. There's everything to indicate that we're different. And actually, when we mix up, it's complicated. You know, our children suffer. There's so many indications that we should stray from it. You know, and if I ask most of you guys, you would all say that there's strength in numbers, there's unity, that's common ground and all this kind of stuff. The reality is, you know, life is easier when you have people that share in your ideology, in your identity, in your experience. You know, you don't really want to come home and have to be continually explaining these things to these people because they're coming from a different experience. I feel you. But I honestly, African Goddess says we need to stop with this peace stuff. It is not how the rest of the world operates. I agree with you, but I seem to think that it really is an innate thing. You know, and I think that those of us that are a bit more territorial and those of us that, you know, believe in reciprocity, I think that probably comes from maybe our exposure to the West, because continentals it's just not a theory here. You know, they're not worried about their homelands being taken. They're not worried about self-preservation. They're not worried about, you know, I mean, these kind of things are so far-fetched from their minds. You know, meanwhile, again, the Asian, the Middle Eastern, the Israeli, you know, these people are always constantly thinking about how they are going to secure themselves and continue to exist in the future. And even a lot of those groups that I just mentioned, they're minority groups, not the Asians. The Asians have a huge population, the Chinese, the Indians, the Japanese are declining. But, you know, definitely Europeans, you know, white Americans, British, these are technically minority groups because they're dwindling, but they're still trying to figure out, okay, how can we preserve our people? Our people are not even thinking at all. Big shout out to the family. Thank you to those of you that's in the chatness. What is that? Wildflower says we don't love our blackness. That's why people want to whitewash themselves. All right. I will. Let's see here. Let me see here. It's been so long since I had somebody come in here. All right. I will give you an opportunity. You say that you're not a black man with a white woman. If you are a black man with a black woman, or a single black man that prefers black women, yeah. If you have a white woman, we don't care. But I've opened the call lines for you to spit your piece. Big shout out to family, guys. We have 19 of you here. Make sure you like the stream. Again, yeah, this is a good time for a commercial break. We are raising funds for the next studio session, okay? I have 6 new tracks. I need to raise $200. We've raised $70 so far. So obviously, you guys can support the music project. And I'm also doing exclusive random. I might do one tomorrow. Should I record it where I'll actually perform those songs live? And if you catch one of those episodes, you can actually hear some of the new songs. Obviously, I don't want them replayed because I don't want anybody stealing my song. Yeah. So you got to catch one of those episodes. And that's an opportunity to also donate anywhere down here. You can also send funds to contribute. Special shout outs to Jennifer, Edie, and Liz Z. I received donations from you guys yesterday. So much love to the family. It should be an easy thing to do because we have so many, you know, I have over 6,000 subscribers on this channel. So $200, we should be able to do it in like 30 minutes, you know? So yes, if you are a fan of my music, a fan of my content, a fan of what we are doing, having these kind of type of conversations, even when some of our people have just lost hope, no. Okay, I'm going to continue to, perpetuate this because maybe some of you guys have never thought about it. You never really thought about it because you have been groomed to think the love is love and whatever and all that BS. or you feel bad when you preference your own people. And I'm here to remind you that like one of the most powerful things you do is giving birth with someone. Okay. Make it someone who looks like you. Make it someone from your own background, bro. Simple. You have a lot of options to choose from. So, even if maybe someone in your immediate area is not available, because I don't blame you. I know dating is really hard in the Western world. Yes. I know the caliber of people, and I know the gender war going on and all this nonsense. I know it's not easy. But again, if you're going to open up your barriers, you can still consider someone in the diaspora, someone who's in the Black umbrella. Okay? All right, commercial break. Big shout out to the family. One and only. I'm back again. African superstar on the track. It's the weekend, and ain't no place I'd rather be than here with you, and you here with me. Yeah. Got the sauce, boy. It's a beach chill. You ain't gotta lie, come close and keep it real. Swear to God, already know how you feel. It's a beach chill. It's a beach chill. You ain't gotta lie, come close and keep it real. Swear to God, already know how you feel. It's a beach chill. Yes, big shout out to the family. That is one of my tracks called Beach Chill. We have the official music video here, and it's out for streaming. So that's just a little snippet of some of my music. Obviously, I'm Black Lover, Stay Single. My vixen always gonna probably be a dark-skinned brother. Hello, nothing else. Because you gotta practice what you preach. You feel me? And again, I know that the dating scene is challenging, but guys, we gotta be strategic, or we're just gonna cease to exist. That's just what it is, because if enough of us get the mentality where it's like, it doesn't really matter, or love is love and all this BS. Yeah, if enough of us get that mentality, yeah, we're not going to exist. It's very, very simple. So big shout out to the African superstar family. If you are here in the building, I did put the link there because I know reparations for repatriation wanted to share some comments. Go ahead and click the link and get in there and let me hear what you have to say. Yes. Big shout outs. What's up, Wendy Chen? I see you there. Yes, so. African Goddess says, if we don't change, we will be in real trouble. In the DRC, there are huge communities of Europeans, Asians. Meantime, most of us are scared to go there. And you see, again, we observe these other ethnicities doing what I'm saying. Okay, we observe these other ethnicities making sure that they continue to keep their communities cohesive. Okay, we see what that does, how that benefits them. Okay, the Chinese have their exclusive communities, their Latinos, the Israelis, the Middle Eastern people, the Palestinians, and all these. When I lived in the UK, I would see, you work in a warehouse and there's loads of immigrants there. And when it's lunchtime, you see them all kind of separate to their people. We do see a bit of this from African communities too once they migrate. And again, Black Americans will get it twisted. Oh, those Africans think they're better than us. Those Afro-Latino, they don't really mess with us. No, they should gravitate to each other. They should. Okay, they should gravitate. It's unnatural to not. Something's wrong. And if you don't know the basics of biology of how, because white women think that they're giving birth to Black children. Okay, they're giving birth to mixed race children. Okay, the only way to make that black man that they love, that tall, chocolatey, dark-skinned, athletic, bomb physique, he was born from a Black woman. Make no mistake. A Black woman and a Black man. That's what created him. Okay, if Black men and black women are not coming together, it's over. I mean, quite frankly, but this conversation is for you to understand perhaps why you have the perspective you do. If you do not have a natural inclination to your people, that there is some hurt there. There's some pain there. Big shout out, Jennifer Edie. I shouted you out earlier. I don't know if you just got in here. Thank you so much for your PayPal, sweetheart. I got it. We're currently up to, we've raised $70 out of the 200, so we need 130. Yes. So I need the family to obviously assist in that for the next studio session. I want to be dropping new music all the time. You guys need it. The world needs it. The world needs music from the African superstar, 100%. Because a lot of this music out here is terrible, And obviously, you guys need images of Black love. You guys need images of Africa. Your children do. When I was recently in the UK, for instance, I went to Lippy's house. Lippy is one of the artists that I've done some collabs with. He's on Sunday Born, and he's on What Is It About Africa? Okay, so I went to visit Lippy, and he has a beautiful, incredibly gorgeous young daughter who she's 9 years old, Ohima. Big shout outs to Ohima, which means queen in tree. Yes. So I did get an opportunity to meet Ohima the first time. And it was really interesting because Lippy was telling Ohima who I was. Oh, this is Auntie Gina. And, we've done some songs together. And she's like, oh, I know, that's the African superstar. Okay. And so he was playing some of my music for her, and she was singing What Is It About Africa? And he was really surprised because she knew some of it word for word. And so what I'm saying is that I talked about this on my last episode about just because something is difficult doesn't mean that you should shy away, okay? I'm someone who's concerned about survival and self-preservation and my future community. Okay, as well as legacy. I've already made the decision, okay, that, if and when I give birth, it will be with a Black man. That's it, period. Okay, I'm not leaving space for anything else. I don't entertain anything else. Okay, and being able to be that example resonates with other people. You see, I fill my songs with Black love. I fill it with, empowerment. I fill it with the continent. That's going out and that's influencing other people. And that can perhaps maybe change their perspective or get them to hone in. Because a lot of us, just like, who was it earlier, was saying that, they tell their children, let me see, who left that comment? Big shout outs. What's up? I'm trying to find that comment. Okay, African Goddess. African Goddess was saying, she kind of, she's made her children know her preferences, but she'll be open with whatever they do. This is why a lot of us struggle with the preference for our own people, because we have started entertaining others really young in the game. Either we don't know what's at stake, our parents have never advised us, and obviously we're in environments that make it more difficult. I was speaking to Nicola the other day. Big shout outs. What's up, Teddy Davis? I see you. Thank you for the compliments. Yes. I'm on my way out, after this episode. Please make sure you like the stream. Yeah, I have a popping social life, guys, here in Ghana. And obviously, it's great. It's also December here, so there's a lot of stuff going on. So, yeah, I'm enjoying Ghana. So, thank you so much. Hey, Teddy made me blush. Oh, gosh. But you see, I was having a conversation with my girlfriend, Nicola, and I was telling her because recently I went on this date with this ultra hot, super hot guy. And I was telling her how difficult it would be to meet that type of dude in the UK or America. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would be hard. You know what I mean? Because, for instance, like UK, Shout outs to all my British viewers. If any of you guys are here from England, you can put your little flag in there. Shout outs to all my love and support from the UK. Yeah, so you guys know when you're in the UK, sometimes these little towns you're living in, you know, diversity is scarce. And then you have the working lifestyle. So, you know, even if you do meet a partner, it's hard for you guys to connect. If you guys don't live in the same town and you guys don't have the same work schedule, or maybe you drive, he doesn't drive, you drive, he doesn't, you know, it has to be an event for you guys to link up, you know. But obviously when you come to the continent, if your preference is black men, you know, there's a lot more options for you in this environment. Big shout outs, guys. All right. Teddy Davis says many educated African American women look down on black men who don't have a certain income. Obviously, yes. And again, this is part of the brainwashing. All that strong, independent ladies, some of you might be guilty. Hello, please pause, like the stream, send some support, get in the chat room. We have just a few minutes left. Yes. This is part of the brainwashing because your standards are so high. And obviously, I do know that, yeah, you've taken the time to educate yourself. You know, maybe you have, you're a high earner, you have your own house, you have your own car, blah, blah, blah. This is a multifaceted problem. Number one, how are we grooming our young men? Okay, unfortunately, a lot of our young men in the Western world, America, they're not being raised with men in their lives. You know, a lot of them are being raised in single family homes with their mothers. You know, it's not the mother's fault, obviously, because if a man makes a child, he should be responsible for that child. Okay. But how are we grooming our young men? Are we grooming them to also go for high education? Are we grooming them to, you know, be a particular type of man? There has to be a framework around your child to produce what you perhaps want them to be. If that framework is not there, you're rolling the dice with the performance of your child. You know, most of us ladies, you know, our parents were very vocal about the direction they wanted us to take. You know, it was not a mystery to me that my parents expected me to go to the university. It was not a mystery to me that my parents expected me to get a job at a certain age and, you know, pay my way through life. And, you know, it was expressed to me, don't have children out of wedlock. You know, I knew what my parents expected of me to give me that framework. How are we raising up our boys? How are we raising up our boys? Because we put a lot of effort in with the ladies as to what they need to be and not necessarily with the men. So that starts with the discrepancy, because we have the women going for the higher education, you know, the bigger paying jobs. And obviously we do have the systematic racism in the Western world, which also prohibits some of the professional aspirations of young Black people. You know, big shout outs out there. Who's this? African Goddess. Thank you so much, sweetheart, for your support. Appreciate that. Big shout outs. Yes, guys, do the necessary. We're trying to raise money for the next studio session, huh? Yes. If some of you guys were here for my last studio session, y'all know them songs is hot. We got 6 new tracks. We need to get them recorded and bring them to the world so you guys can rock and enjoy. So big shout outs to African Goddess for being a part of that. Mr. Teddy Davis, my name is spelled J-E-E-N-A. Okay, Gina Ifoe. Yes. Why? Are you making out a big check to me? Huh? What? Oh, that would be so lovely. Yes. That would be so lovely. I could shoot a music video. Amen to that. Hallelujah. See, I don't even need white Jesus. All I need is Teddy. Teddy gonna write me a big fat check so we can kick the new year off with the music. I'm gonna invest the whole check in the music. I'm not gonna lie, because I really want to take it. I really want to push it. I saw the reception in London. The people went crazy when I came on the stage, and I was like, yeah, that's what's up. You know what I'm saying? So big shout out to the family. All right. Let me get back to this. So the discrepancy starts as we're bringing up our kids, first of all, because we're promoting our girls to be a particular way. Okay. A lot of those women are also being groomed to be the independent. Girl, don't let these men, you got all the time in the world. You can get a man after your education. You can get a man after this. You can get a man after that. Don't let those boys get you. Okay, you hearing all that. All right. And then because we're not grooming our men correctly, which is a big part of the problem, the upbringing of our young men, because that's somebody's future daddy or potentially somebody's future husband. So we need to definitely examine how our young men are being groomed. Okay. So the disparity starts then. Now, when they become adults, okay, you have the woman who's highly accomplished, perhaps, and you have men that are not up to maybe her education level or earning level. It's unfortunate. Now, we also have the high performing Black men who then have a disdain for their own group. So they feel like they're too good for Black women. They don't want Black women. They want something else. You see, and all of this is part of the brainwashing to keep us separated. So I would say, ladies, if, for instance, you have young ladies in your house, it's delicate how you're influencing them on this particular topic. The reality is, as women, we don't have unlimited time, huh? Talk about that biological clock. Let's be real. And at the end of the day, honestly, if you start beginning your family perhaps when you're younger, ideally it's better. You know what I mean? It's better. It's better than trying to wait until your 40s, 50s, 60s to give birth to a child, which is why if we look at historically sometimes when families begin, when do people settle down? When do people marry? When do people strive to give birth? It's always been younger ladies, honestly. Women, I know in some cultures, like the Middle Eastern culture, when you start having your menstrual cycle, you can be, they start doing arranged marriages right then and there. But I know as far as the Western culture, usually anywhere from 16 to 18 girls were getting married, and starting their family. So by the time you're 20, 30, they've already given birth to, umpteen kids and all this stuff. Meanwhile, some of us, you've got the degree, you've got the house, you got the car, no kids, no husband. You see, it's also another part of this self-preservation, because those of us that perhaps have invested in those avenues, we have negated nature. Okay, creating a family. And actually, we might be some of the more suitable people to be procreating because we are stable. We can take care of our kids. We are educated. We are intelligent people. We actually should be the ones who are creating and instilling in the future. It's all smoke and mirrors, guys. You've got to look beyond. Okay. And again, when your enemies are influencing you, controlling your education, your exposure, hello, they're trying to guys, do you guys not recognize they're trying to eliminate us? I mean, like, do you not feel and understand the threat? Because if you actually, if we weren't so fortunate and resilient, okay, because if we're honest, Black people, a lot of times, like some of you guys have mentioned in the chat, we're not really focused on self-preservation. We're not really focused on the future. We don't like fighting. We don't like conflict. So, I mean, if we weren't fortunate, if we weren't strong, we would definitely be eliminated by now. You see, unfortunately, I hate to say this, but it's just the truth. Like the Native Americans. The Native Americans could not resist the Europeans. The Europeans eliminated them effectively with all their shenanigans. And can you imagine? They didn't even do a slave trade with the Native Americans. And they were able to eradicate them nearly completely. Okay. They have done heinous things to our people, and somehow, yet and still. Okay. Yet and still, we still survive. And actually, I have to credit our survival, like the fact that we are not eliminated, with the continent. Because you see, as the Western world has been influencing our people to do the interracial dating, be part of the LGBT, and be part of the gender wars. People here on the continent still marrying and giving birth. 2.3 kids standard over here. And so that has been the proponent of us still continuing to survive, because if we look at the demographic of our people in the Western world, they are in the red. I mean, they are severely challenged. And we look at the caliber, of, for instance, the young people. And it's like, ooh, I don't know. Because right now we have a lot of young men, especially incarcerated. Okay, how available can they be as fathers when they're incarcerated? They in there, dropping the soap. Yeah. They're in there getting turned out and all that stuff. So what caliber is that? Then you have those that are in the street. Then you have those that are, in the LGBT in the community. Then you have those that are transgender. Then you have those that are doing interracial. Then you have those incels, as my good friend Dr. Lincoln calls them, incels, weirdos, cyber guys, haven't had a woman in years, the passport bros. So you look at all these segments and they can't figure out that their strong suit is going to be somehow for us to connect. And I understand some Western Black women do also make it difficult, because some of them have outlandish, totally unrealistic expectations. And I'm thinking, like, sis, come on. And let me also state for the record, if you claim you're high value has to be determined by more than wealth. Okay. Just the fact that you're a high earner doesn't make you high value. Okay. What character man are you, or woman? Are you responsible? Are you mature? Do you take care of your kids? Do you take care of yourself? What's your perspective? How do you communicate? There's so many other things that would make you high value. And again, all this social media stuff is brainwashing you guys to get away from the fact that in order for us to continue to exist, the cohesion needs to be there. And I would say this to, my Black American FDO, FBA, ADOS folks, that you guys are so, focused on your life in America. This should be a priority. Repairing relationships and destroying this gender war. This should be, because Black Americans are going to eliminate themselves otherwise. If they don't understand this number one fact, okay, all these different attacks coming at them that are gaining ground, and being effective, ultimately you will be eliminated. If you guys don't get together and procreate, and not just lay down and have a baby, but raise that child to be a sufficient adult. If you're honest, there is a difference. A lot of times you will see that difference from people that have been able to come from nuclear homes and people that have not. And again, it's not your fault if that's the environment that unfortunately your family put you in, but it's just true. You can't be something that you're not. Now you can obviously, mature and things like that over time, and you can overcome some of those hindrances, but there is a difference. There is a difference. And so we that must be a priority. I think, the nuclear family, promoting that, destroying this gender war, all these people that are making all this BS content, supporting people like myself who are promoting Black love, promoting the continent, promoting cohesion. That's how we start to combat some of this stuff. Because obviously the colonizers, the people that are controlling the mainstream media and this music, they are in competition with it. They are our enemies. They don't want to see our people thrive. Okay, yet again, another huge notable difference between the two groups of us. They're constantly conspiring on us, while we are not, we don't have the level of animosity towards them that they have towards us, even though they keep attacking. They keep consistently attacking, trying to squeeze and choke us out. And we're just like, oh my God, no, that's my friend. They're not all bad. We just refuse to accept it, you know. Big shout outs. All right, guys, let me wrap up. Yes, oh, yes, oh, yes, oh. Teddy Davis, I'll be waiting on my big check. Thank you. Zoo and Shayna, I see you there, sweetheart. Yes. This is what I was talking about. I'm talking about it's just by the, as you guys would say, it's by the grace of God that we haven't been eliminated, because we haven't put up a fighting front, guys. We haven't put up a fighting front. But other people have been eliminated by these folks. Other people have been eliminated by these folks. When you think it's a game, just remember that. Okay, just remember, while you're befriending them and you think it's all good and you guys are, diversity, just remember that these people are responsible for eliminations of whole population. They have killed animals, huh? Animals that used to be there in abundance, gone. They've destroyed forests. Sorry. They've polluted the ocean. These people are toxic and dangerous. Okay, if you can't recognize what I'm saying, something is wrong. It's unnatural. These folks are enemies to our people. Sorry. Toxic creatures. All right. And every now and then we get a stray one that comes on here and, oh, is it you? It's all based on history, fam. You can be mad at me for voicing out history. Be mad at your people for leaving that type of history that I can talk about. Huh? You are responsible for deforestation. You are responsible for the eradication of the Native Americans. You are responsible for war, destruction, murder. You are. It's a historical fact. I'm not the enemy for reminding you of what you've done and reminding my people. So you guys are fishing and looking for the sweet spot among these dangerous creatures. Just know what you're getting into. And know that most of the time, your preference for them is coming from an unhealed place. Something is wrong, because your natural inclination should be an affinity to your own kind. You should care. You should want that. You should want your children to look like you. You should want generational wealth. You should. You shouldn't want your whole lifetime's work to just be totally, lost. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to toil and create an empire and then hand it over to somebody else? Why? So a big shout out to the African Superstar family. Thank you. We had several of you guys here in the building. Shout outs to, again, special shout outs to African Goddess, the one and only super chat donor today. Also special shout outs to Jennifer Edie. She's with us. She sent in her PayPal hey, Lord, boy, I can't even talk. Hey, she sent in her PayPal to contribute to our upcoming studio session. We are currently trying to raise $200. The methods to donate is rolling across the screen, as well as if you catch one of my super exclusive Should I Record It episodes, you'll be able to actually hear me perform the songs that we want to record. We have 6 new tracks. So obviously $200 covers my studio session, the beats, the mixing and mastering for those songs. And I want to, kick off the year and get it popping with great, inspirational, positive, Black love, pro-Black, Pan-African music. Huh? How many artists is doing it like that? How many artists is doing it like that? I'll wait. All right, big shout out to African Superstar family. All right. J-Star, are you serious? Because the cost of living, duh. The cost of living, homelessness is like on the rise in America. It's like a huge epidemic. But that's not the topic here. But a little bit of Google search and research will let you know that. But if you are more curious to inquire, just go ahead and look on YouTube. I'm sure there are videos. I know I've seen a few videos about the homelessness epidemic in like New York, Chicago, California. People can't afford the cost of living. That's why they're living in their cars. I think it's kind of self-explanatory. you know. But again, you can do research. That's not my topic here. Let's keep it on the topic. All right, family. Big shout out to the African Superstar family. Thank you so much for coming to watch me. If you're not subscribed, you love my platform, make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss. And again, guys, remember, studio sessions. So please, I do appreciate your support if you love what we're doing here. Until we meet again, stay black and true. If you ain't black, just stay true.